topic today is the remnant of Rebekah. The remnant of Rebekah is a very interesting topic of the story. We start with the how do you say, the literal, the pishat in Hebrew, the literal story of about Rebekah and Yitzhak. So for most of those who are been walking in Yeshua, those who accept Yeshua, as when they were called, ipangtawag sila, those who ang tinatawag ng Elohim, they were called by Elohim from the world. So they were called in the world. So as a married person, I don't say that I'm perfect, but I'm not perfect wife, because you have a lot of responsibility as a wife. Far from that, from our from our matriarch. So you can speak how your journey in life, it is in the life of Rebekah. In the life of Rebekah, the life of Rebekah is this is the remnant, of Israel, not the remnant of Jacob, the remnant of Israel, and this is the bride of the Mashiach, the bride of Mashiach. So how does it works? How does it works when Elohim called you in life? When the story of Rebekah is about Father Abraham has told Elisha for the wife, as he's looking for a wife for his son Yitzhak. That was the story. The story is there. Very simple story, what we can see in the Torah. But the behind from that is very beautiful story for we are now. For we are now. If you're partaker of that calling, then it's a beautiful privilege that Elohim has called you. But I tell you, this is not the life. This is because it's two. You have to understand, it's a dualism. The remnant of Rebekah is a all and all. We speak about the Jacob's two wife, which is Leah and Rachel. It's another story, but this one is about the remnant of Israel, ang study nato karon. So if we can relate sa story, Abraham was told Eliezer to search for a bride for his son Yitzhak. That was they have made an oath with Eliezer about that. Eliezer was not clear if he can find a wife for Yitzhak. So wa siya ni promise, but Elohim was praying for his master's son, that he could find a bride for his master, for Yitzhak. So the story is there. When Eliezer went to the house in the family of Sarai, because Sarai he died already, so this is why the reason that Abraham looking for a wife for his son. So he went to his family. I don't remember the place, but there Eliezer, he make asking for a sign which woman he could tuno nga mao na siyang bayhana para siyang master sa son, to know who is the wife, the bride for his son. This is what Eliezer is, to make sure he's asking for sign. So they were in the well, and then she was taking the flax from his father, and that was the very interesting story, because you can read that in the Torah. So Eliezer went to ask the hand of the parents of Rebekah And Rebekah is, wa siya magduha-duha. She never doubt. Because Eliezer, because the family was asking 10 days to let him stay, but Eliezer, he was not, he want to fulfill what is his master has told him. So, the family asked Rebekah if he will come with Eliezer. So, the type of Israel, the remnant of Israel, are those woman who is willingly to follow Eliezer. Eliezer is represent of the Ruach HaKodesh. The Ruach HaKodesh is not working in the physical way. He's working in our hearts. The Ruach HaKodesh will not depart from the Torah. His calling, the Ruach HaKodesh is always, you have to remember that in mind, that the Ruach HaKodesh is the founded of the Torah. It will not go out. Because there are many in the Christianity, you can call the Holy Spirit. It's not so in the Torah. Shaul speak about that. You cannot even quench in the Ruah. You cannot quench the Ruah. Because you know why? You cannot quench. Because, but if you quench that, it cannot, the Ruah of Elohim, the Torah of Elohim, you cannot mingle with what is from the worldly life. He will not for a worldly life. The Ruah of Elohim is set apart because Elohim is set apart. He is sent by, is what Yeshua gave to his disciples, to his apostles in the Mount of Olive. He was a Shavuot. He was Shavuot. So, if you can see that, the Ruah, the Holy Spirit as the Christian, you know what? Christian is really Edom. They are opposite of the Torah. Because that is the enemy of his brother Jacob. He's opposite. He has no Torah. So you're outside of the covenant. But Rebekah is the remnant of Rebekah. Who is Rebekah? Is the one who follow Eliezer without any doubt. Now, akong pangutana, I will ask question. If it happens to you, somebody, a well-known family, Abraham, he is, because if you say rich, siguro, maog na itong una number 1 nga kanang hunahuna nga, muuban ta. Kay dato, kwartahan. Known man si Abraham at this time. He is known, Abraham, but not by the money, but by Elohim. That was, Abraham is known by Elohim. The blessings of Elohim of this man, not about that he is in the wealthy man. No, it's not about wealthy man as Christianity taught. It's not so. He is known because of Elohim. He is faithful unto Elohim. So now, Rebekah, when she was asked by Eliezer, it was no doubt that she followed straight Eliezer. So you see, because if you are in your family and suddenly a man from your far relatives come to you because his son is somebody want to marry for his son, for the son of his master. Unsa may imong hunahunaon? What will you think? You don't know that man. You never see that man in your life. And they will ask you for marriage to that man. A marriage, how can you see that the confident what will be my life with this man? I never seen this man. Guwapo ba ni og dili? Guwapo og di guwapo? So that is what is the most important part in the decision of Rebekah. Why? Because Rebekah never doubt, and she had full of imuna that he will be in good hands. A good hands, and he really respect this man. Because she know that when she saw that, who is that man, when he was about to arrive in the place of Yitzhak, she was asking to Eliezer, who is that man? Then he put his head covering, and you see, that is a sign of respect that this will be my man. Can you imagine? Huh? When we, the remnant of Israel, when we see far, that we are closer to Mashiach's coming. It also relates to the Mashiach's coming is really closer. What will you do? Your intense nagbuto-buto na imong kasing-kasing diha. Imong heart is beating so much. Can you imagine? Because of the excitement and to see your groom. Inga na bad pod mo? To see your groom, excitement. Is this what you feel today in our time? Because the groom is where intense of our situation na is intense for the coming back of Messiah. So, Rebekah, as you said, he is full of trusting faith in the Elohim of Abraham. This is why she knows that she will be in good hands into the life of, to enter in the life of Yitzhak. And how about the remnant of Israel? How about the remnant of Israel? Were been sifted, beaten, and you have to know the process of the grain when it is ripe.
Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you how to make flour from wheat, from the actual plant. Now I know you've seen pictures of this, but you've probably never seen a whole field of it. This is winter wheat right down the road from my house. Let me show you a picture. To get wheat flour, first you have to separate the wheat berry from all of this hull, and that's called threshing. Then you need to winnow all of the chaff away from the wheat berry. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, all of this is industrial now. They've got equipment that will do all of this right in the field. I'm just going to show you how to do it old school, maybe with a little bit of a modern homesteader twist. We're not talking about making 50-pound sacks of flour. I'm just showing this out of concept alone. So obviously the first thing that you would need is the wheat. And this is dried. And let me show you a close-up. Each one of these little segments contains a wheat berry. And the wheat berry has a little hull around it. You want to get around all that chaff. Okay, that's called the chaff. You don't want to eat that. So this is what you want. That little tiny piece of wheat. And then this can be ground into flour. You can bake your bread out of it. Now you'll notice 3 of these just popped out. It pops out pretty easily. Alright, keep in mind, this is just for proof of concept. This is not an efficient way to do it. This is not the way anybody does it. I'm just showing you how to do the process. So basically, first you need to separate the heads of the wheat away from the stems. Normally you do this with a sickle in the field. I'm just going to cut the stems. I'm just going to stick this in the pillowcase. Okay, next, I'm just going to basically thresh it. That means whack it, bang it, try to break all those little seeds off. Sometimes they would use a flail for this. That's a special tool that kind of flails it. I'm just basically beating it against concrete. The other thing I've seen people do is beat it with a stick. There you go, bad wheat, bad wheat. You can crumple it with your hands, you can shimmy it and shake it. That's called threshing. Okay, now that I've threshed it, I'm just going to dump it out onto the screen. Here's the threshed wheat, and obviously we're going to throw all this out. But look at, we've got all this grain hidden in with all the chaff. But how are you going to separate that? We're going to do it by winnowing. What is winnowing? Well, in its simplest form, you would drop the wheat and chaff, and the wind, if it's a windy day, would blow the chaff away, and the wheat berries, being heavier, would fall down onto the ground directly below. So since it's not very windy today, our chaff is not really separating that well, so I've got another idea. All right, let me show you my idea. I've got a fan, I've got a bucket to catch the wheat berries, and all the chaff's gonna fly that way when I turn this fan on. You ready? That was phase one of separating the wheat from the chaff. And it did a pretty good job. Now I'm gonna run it through a second, maybe a third time, and just try to get rid of all this light chaff. Here goes round two. And this is what it looks like after the second exposure to wind. Now, I'll do this maybe one more time, but you get the idea. Here's the cleaned wheat berries, and now I'm gonna put them through an old-fashioned grinder. And these are 2 millstones, and the flour will come out here as I grind it. And here we have it, the final product. Directly from the field, this is the wheat.
Sa rice pa na, you know, those who are working in the field, sa basakan, when you see the kanang ma-ripe na ang humay, what did they do? Sa grain is very hard process ang life. That is, you know why we're speaking about grain, because we are close to the coming Shavuot. We're close to the coming Shavuot. And what is with Shavuot? You know what is Shavuot? Shavuot is when the priest 2 loaves of bread with leaven, now this is with leaven, that they will offer unto Elohim. 2 bread offer unto Elohim. Because you have to know the process of the grain when it is ripe, when it is in maturity. The same for the remnant of Rebekah. It must be in the full maturity. Why? Because the process of making a bread, what is bread? What is the bread of life? Is not the Torah. When the Torah, gi-scrutinize sa Torah sa atong life, because we follow the footstep of Messiah, and you know it's not an easy way. You have to never forget what Yeshua said, the narrow way is into the wide place to come when Mashiach come. It might be narrow for us now because we have many troubles in life, you know, travail, you know, travail means gabati ba, contraction in sa ka inahan nga nagbati. This is our life as remnant of Rebekah. Is a remnant of Rebekah. That is our life. So you have to know that it is the process of the grain, the wheat grain, is very, very hard. You have to know how it is the process until to make it a flour, and then to make us a bread, because that is what is required. The first fruit in the Shavuot, and that is the life of the remnant. And it's not an easy life, because you will be beaten of the circumstances in life, trials in life, that you have to overcome this and not to divert. You will accept all this beating in the same what happened to Yeshua. Beaten, spitted, giludan siya, gimak by his own brethren. It is so also in us who are, you know, we can be confident to say that we are remnant. Yes, but we have to check ourselves if we are really set apart people of Elohim. That is that what it counts. Are we really, because it's not, the life is easy. And most of the struggle we have here on earth is the system of this world. Money making. Money making, what is really very difficult to us here. But never forget, if you are faithful unto Elohim, you have to know Elohim, how Elohim work in your life. That He never leave you nor forsake you from all your trouble. This is what Jacob said to his children. Do not forget. For our Father who never forget, who was always there for our trouble. Why? Because this is how you have your faithfulness unto Him. To be grateful that He is our rescue. And now we are in the intense of our trials, our battle. We're in the intense of our battle. You know that those who know, who know that we are not in a joke time. Honestly, we are not a joke time. We are really intense. The world is in agony, and the people and those who know what is going on, what's going on the planet, is really shaking. Why? Shaking because the coming system is fronting to them. Is about to come to them. So this is what is very hard to face. We have to learn a shalom. Like Yeshua, He was in shalom. He knows that He's about to die. So the people is shaking. The people are shaking, those few that they do want to this coming system from the world. But those who are remnant of Israel, of course, we are really shaking because of our flesh. Our flesh is shaking. Never forget, the Ruah will help us to strengthen our faith. As long as we are faithful to the word, to the Torah of Elohim, He will strengthen us. Yes, this is what happened during Shavuot. During Shavuot, they were become ihad to the Ruah of Elohim was given, that was promised by Yeshua to give to His apostle and His disciples. The first followers who are the Yehudim, the Jews who follow Him. Wala. Di na ka mubatig kahadlok. Why? Because it is the Ruah of Elohim will, if you are set aparting yourself, you are careful from all this worldly life, then Elohim can dili na ka ma-shaken. He cannot be shaken. Why? Because you have experience already. The Ruah will help you because of your lifestyle that you intimate with Elohim through His word. This is your hope unto Elohim, what makes us strengthen. And do you think I am perfect? No, I am not perfect. Okay. So my husband is making the noise. So, okay. Continue the topic. So, the last is, we're in the intense of our situation now. It's not a joke that the trouble of this world is coming, because this is a coming from the other side is the redemption of the coming redemption in Mashiach, and the other one from the Esau. Esau represent the earthly. He's represent the earthly. You have to read in Jeremiah 30. He was 30. That he will break the yoke. What yoke from Yaakov? So this is what Elohim wants to read, that we to break that. When it is break, it means you have to really detach yourself to this earthly system. Detach yourself until Mashiach come. You have not to, wala tay panbagunitan. We don't hold anything what is on this earth, because we know there is a coming future, coming kingdom of Elohim will be installed in the earth. So many are shaking. I am shaking. No, I will not shake. I will say, as one rabbi said, bring it on, bring it on. I know it's not an easy. I understand we have to let go everything. We have to let go. What can we do if these people come to you because they want you to force to do their system? No. I tell you, they don't own the planet. They don't. We have a creator who's working, for his time. Now is finished the time of Esau. The world system, the time of Esau is finished. Now is the time of Jacob will rule. And this is the shaking of the remnant of Israel. Those remnant of Israel will hold to Mashiach, to the Torah. And he will bring us as a promise to the promised land. So we are we're close to the time of Shavuot. Soon we start for the 6th week. We just finished today the 6th week. To the 6 weeks, and then we will have we finish the 5th week, and then the next is a 6th week. So we're closer to the Shavuot, and then it's very interesting. The process of the grain, the wheat grain, how it is in the process to make a bread. Why it become a leaven now? Before in Aviv there was we eat 7 days without leaven. Now in Shavuot they will eat with leaven. The priest will offer that unto Elohim. 2 loaves of bread. They represent the house of Judah and the house of Israel in bread. Why is it become bread with leaven? Why? Myself, I would say because it's a first fruit, right? The first fruit from the grain. So the process of the grain, this is what is very difficult. Ang grain ilang ibiten, para mga tak-tak to ang mga shaken, the grain is shaken so that the grain will fall, and then after that they put inside in the cloth and it was beaten, and then there is the I don't know how they do that in the natural, because today they have a tracer, I think, or in the fan they make it to make it all this the rest until the grain will remain. So you have to see the process for the wheat, how it is to make it a flour. So the grain is also to be grind until it as a flour. Can you imagine with a grind pa dyan? Can you imagine with that? How you have been squeezed the grain in order to be a flour, and then you are perfectly. This is how the process. Myself, I will consider that as from corruptible to incorruptible body. That is the purpose of the. So it means the Torah in your life is very grown. It grows to you because ang leaven is represent manches, and nahimo man siyang bread. It becomes bread, and it becomes because the unleavened bread is a represent to the Torah. Unleavened bread is represent to the Torah. So without leaven, no sin. What happened in the Shavuot, the priest Elohim required the 2 loaves of bread with leaven. Now this time there's leaven, because it's a picture of the first fruit of the remnant of Israel. The process is not easy process to undergo to become a perfect bread unto Elohim. To represent the house of Judah and house of Israel. So that is, and this is people are the remnant. Who? What is written in the Brit Kadasha? These are people who clean their robe as they change their robe, they cleanse their robe. This is what is said also in Exodus when they went to the Mount Sinai, when Elohim told them in the 3rd day On the third day, it was some Shavuot to meet with Elohim on the third day. You don't have to you have to wash yourself. This is what the commandment. You have to wash yourself before you will present yourself, as Moshe commanded the children of Israel to wash yourself. What does it mean? That there it was physical, but now is spiritual. What is to be washed? To rewash to cleanse, to remove, to refine all our what is from the flesh, what is for the earthly things, and to be detached completely to the world today. Di ta magmahay-mahay. We don't regret what's going on, because it's nothing. This is not our future. The future is the coming kingdom of Elohim. We have to receive that, because our brother Judah were not of course there are only few who received Mashiach at this time in Yeshua, but they were not ready. We have to be excited with that, because this is another world. This is not the world that we are struggling too much, always making money just to live. At this time, when Mashiach come, it will be in abundance. It is the same like Yosef happened in Egypt, that in the seventh year, there was abundance in Egypt. It is the same picture of that. In the seventh year, there is a abundance. This is the picture of Mashiach on his coming back, is also the abundance. People will have a food. Why? Because what is written? And the Torah will go forth from Zion, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. We will walk in his footsteps, and he will teach us his way. Because that is a spiritual food. The Torah is a spiritual food, and that is Yeshua will feed the people. It's a spiritual, it's a Torah will flourish in the life of, whether they like it or not, from the nation who are overcome with the tribulation, great tribulation. Then they will like it or not, they will have to bow down to the king, And the same with Yosef. What happened with Yosef? You see the process from Rebekah. You see, Rebekah, Jacob, and Joseph. You see, so beautiful. That is a picture of the coming. That is behind the letter of the Torah. That is what is beautiful in the Torah. The abundance in the coming seventh year. Oh, hallelujah. Seventh year. Now, because we're in the last Shemitah. We are Shemitah now. We are in the last Shemitah on the process. And the evil and good is fighting. We have to represent in the good side. And this is how Elohim, in the good side, he will in the process, like the grain, because there is not only the Israel will also be in the sifting. It is all, everybody is sifting. They have to undergo this, and those who will overcome, then they will be in the kingdom of Elohim. Isn't that beautiful? The abundance in the seventh year. You see, so beautiful. Shavuot, if you remember in Shavuot, in the Mount Sinai, when Elohim said to wash your robe, what is in the Revelation? These are the one who go out from the great tribulation. They wash their robes. The same, it is related to that. That we have which robe? Which robe to be washed? This one? This one? The robe? No, it's not this one. Our flesh. To beat this flesh. Beat, not to, because this flesh is impatient. They like to be this world, this flesh. Oh, I see all this around me, traveling, all this really earthly lifestyle. But the lifestyle of the Torah is so, you are in the corner. Ano what does the prophet said? What does Yeshua said? The narrow of a better place is very narrow. To go through that, you have to go through from this process, as like the grain of wheat grain, how it is processed, and you can be in the incorruptible body. This is to change our body into incorruptible. That is our clothes, our clothes, because this one is must be to be washed spiritually. You can know that what is to wash. This is not to be beaten. This way, when Shaw said, you are a living sacrifice. What is to live sacrifice? To sacrifice this flesh, quite, because we are animals today. Today, who is to be present unto Elohim into him. So that was Shaul said in Romans 12, I think, that we have to um be a living sacrifice unto Elohim, to his temple. And soon, when Mashiach come back, he will, the Jerusalem above will come down, and this is the form of marriage. Marriage from the heavenly and the earth. This is the will be the restoration. It will be, because this earth is completely separate from Elohim, because Elohim's presence cannot dwell in this place. He is dwelling, as he said, he will dwell among his people. Those whose people, those who are set apart, because Elohim is set apart. So this is how he dwell. This is why you cannot quench the Ruah, because the Ruah will live, and the presence of Elohim is no more in your life. You will be in the world. This why the separation of the world around us, the pagans, is very important. Important. We cannot yoke with all these people. So it's very hard, but there is a better place, that Elohim. Everything is written down in the book of life. So Elohim can judge to their sa mga labors nato and our deeds in life. So that is from Rebekah, the remnant of Rebekah. And what's happened to Rebekah? They were in the chamber. The chamber. Yitzhak was brought her in the chamber of his mother. What does Shaul said in Galatians? It is the Jerusalem, the chamber, the mother of all. The Jerusalem above. The Jerusalem above. That is also related to that when Jacob brought Rebekah to the chamber of his mother. And that is a perfect, which is relate to what Shaul said, the mother of all us is the Jerusalem above, and he will bring it down soon when Mashiach come back. Okay, shalom to all of you.